All right, this is a system of linear equations, is the fancy name for it. It asks you to solve the two equations for x. They have an A, I just recopy the problem, A and B, those are just numbers. I think that's kind of what gets a little bit confusing is it's all variables. But if you look at your answers, it's in terms of A and B. So let's just treat those like numbers. And it's asking you to solve for x. There's a couple of different ways to solve a system of equations like this, but the easiest way is we can actually add two equations together. And the reason that I'm choosing to do that is because I right off the bat noticed that plus y and minus y, if we add those together, you get 0, because plus, if we imagine that there's a 1 here and a 1 here, plus 1 plus minus 1. So plus 1 and minus 1 equals 0, and those terms actually cancel out, which is really handy for us because they asked us to solve for x. So let's cancel those out. So then x plus x gives us 2x. And then a plus b is just a plus b. A plus b. And again, we're solving for x. So the opposite of multiplying x by 2 is dividing x by 2. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1 and leaves us with x. So x is equal to a plus b over 2. Dividing by 2 is the same thing as multiplying by half. So a plus b times a half, or a plus b divided by 2. Really quick, I just wanted to point out that in our original problem, we had two equations and two variables. And in any equations, you can only solve either one equation or a system of equations if you have the same number of variables as the number of equations. So I drew this example, 4x equals 12. This is one equation with one variable, so we can just go ahead and solve that. In this case, our variables were x and y, so we had two variables or two unknowns and two equations. And again, a and b we're not counting those as unknowns because we're solving in terms of those numbers. So we're assuming that they're a constant or they're a number. They're not a variable. Also, if you'd like to see the other methods of solving a system of equations, I would guess on this test that usually it'll be something simple like this where you can just add the two equations together and something will cancel out in your favor.